Introducing on my show now, my next interviewee, we have Natasha Hardy. She is a singer, performer, vocalist, and so on. Welcome to my show. Good to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan, for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah, exciting to have you on also. How are you and how has your week been so far to begin with?
Yeah, it's been really great. I'm enjoying the last bit of the Indian summer that we're having. And I'm really looking forward to September because it just always feels like being back at school when you can like start getting balls rolling again and carrying on stuff from before the summer holidays.
It's a nice part of the year, September in the calendar. A lot of songs been written about this month.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. I
Busy
think
time.
there's a Wycliffe Jean song somewhere
Yeah,
around, isn't there?
sure. I know Earth, Wind and Fire, and we could go on, but I know this part of the calendar. Is it coming? Is it getting busier for you artists? You know, with Christmas and Halloween and everything, bookings going up.
Yeah, generally we start planning Christmas stuff in spring. So it always feels a bit of a weird one when Christmas does finally come around because we've kind of been thinking about it all year.
Mm,
But yeah, I love Christmas. I'm looking forward to it. I am a little bit of a bar humbug about Christmas Day
mm.
itself, but I love the lead up to it. And actually, I really love Boxing Day more than anything because it just feels like that is another day that we can celebrate
Yeah.
stuff. So
So, like the
yeah,
Advent leading up to it, do you do many Christmas songs around there, like Christmas
I
numbers?
don't really do, I don't really do lots of Christmas songs, but I have worked with the Crisis Charity, which is the homeless charity, which I usually go to one of their centres and perform actually, which I really enjoy supporting each year.
That's
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it's mainly family and friends.
That's a wonderful thing to do. So I've just got you on to talk about your music, really. I know you're based in London. Just as before we start chatting, you're a London-based artist. You have a new single out called "In Too Deep." Listening to it, what can you reveal about this song, its story and its creation?
Sure. Well, Into Deep is the title track of my debut album, Lost in Love. And I feel like this particular song sums up the whole idea of the whole album concept. So I really love this song. About it, it was produced by Tom E. Morrison. He's produced nine of the singles on the album, bar one. And he was amazing to work with. I really enjoyed working with him. And when I came to him with the concept for the song, I said I wanted something that kind of blends my songwriting and the feel of Enya and a Lord of the Rings style track. And he obviously spent a long time sprinkling his stardust over the track, and that's the culmination of the song. The way it was recorded was at his studios in North London, and we actually had Dermot Crean on the track playing violin, and he actually played the hard angle fiddle in the actual Lord of the Rings soundtrack. So I do feel like it has got a little bit of the Lord of the Rings quality in the song.
Great company you have there. Listening to the track, it's got many instrumentations on, including the piano accompaniment. Did you have a say in like playing the keys?
Yeah, so basically, when I write a song, I write all the melody and a little bit of the harmony. And as a singer, I'm not the best pianist in the world. I can put a few chords together while I'm songwriting, but the piano is really down to a wonderful pianist called Stefano Marazzani. He's also a friend of mine, Italian, obviously. And I said to him, I wanted it kind of in a classical but contemporary style. And I was thinking along the lines of kind of Debussy. And so he basically took the progression and built on that and then formed the actual piano arrangement, which sounds really beautiful. And I wanted it to sound very like a waterfall, like very, um, very melodic and lulling kind of thing, because it kind of goes with the water theme of being in too deep.
Yeah, listen. Yeah,
Yeah,
listening to
so
the track, it sounds very ethereal, which means like very haunting, otherworldly. Is that the
yeah.
ambience you're trying to let the listener capture?
Yeah, so basically, I wanted people to think of me as the queen of the forest, and people are coming into my realm, so to speak, where they can escape into the music and just lose themselves in the song stories that I've created.
Will there be a music video for this track, or has there been a music video already been made for this song?
I've actually made the music video for this track. I produced it myself, and the music video is actually in 4 locations all over the south of England. And one of my favorite parts of filming the music video was in the Bluebell Woods, which is in Hampshire, and I actually made everyone get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to get the sunlight coming through the woods and the bluebells and everything. So yeah, it's on YouTube. So if you can, please check it out.
Yeah, brilliant. I know with bluebells, I'm not a botanist by any stretch of the imagination, but bluebells, I always seem to find they kind of flourish in springtime. Are there still bluebells at this time of the year?
No, you're right. They usually come out the end of April, beginning of May time, depending on the season. So I was really lucky that I got there on a day where it's not too wet, not too dry. I have actually got a funny story about bluebells. In the music video, I thought it would be a really cool idea to kind of film myself, kind of going in the water as though, in too deep, so to speak. And I thought it would be really cool to like have bluebells around me. So I was really clever with how I filled up a bath with like black lining, and we put all bluebells in the water, and we filmed a little bit of me going underwater and everything. And then afterwards, after we'd filmed, we're only filming for like about an hour, but afterwards I had really bad palpitations, and I realized that actually bluebells are poisonous.
Ooh. Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. To be honest, you learn something new every day on
No,
this
I
show.
didn't know that either. So next time I'll be using fake flowers in the
Yeah.
bath.
Well, I'm glad you made the other side. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, so this song, I know in the artwork of your song, you're very inspired by nature, natural surroundings.
Yes, I am. I mean, if I could wake up in a ball gown and walk through a forest every day with bare feet, that would it sounds like my
Mm,
perfect lifestyle. But I live in North London. I think
yeah.
the nearest woods to me is Cuffley Woods.
Mm,
But basically, yeah, I love nature. I feel very in touch with nature. I love just going out into nature, and it really grounds me. So I feel like I've got a real connection with the nature. But as a classically trained singer, there's also the kind of the very theatrical style that goes along with opera, so to speak. And so, although I'm not singing an operatic voice, I am trying to pull some of those kind of themes into the overall kind of palette of what I'm kind of laying out for everyone. So I hope people see that, and that's kind of where the Queen of the Forest came from. So I don't know if there's a famous opera called Queen of the Night, and so I was kind of thinking along those themes of coming into my realm, which is the forest and nature, but still with the big ball gown on.
And my next question I'm going to ask you, if I stand correct, your vocal register is top of the range soprano.
I am a soprano. Yeah, I didn't know I was a soprano. I didn't really go through the traditional classical musical route. I actually what started out as wanting to be an actress. I didn't want to be a singer at all. But then when I was pursuing my acting career, I actually kept looking at adverts in an old newspaper called The Stage. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but it used to have like loads of adverts in there for actresses that can sing. And so I thought, well, I better start learning to sing so I can actually go for these auditions as well. And I found a really lovely singing teacher who's actually still my singing teacher to this day. And she was actually an opera singer, and she trained me in the classical style. And I think I remember on my very first lesson, she said to me, "Oh yeah, you're a soprano," and I had no idea what that meant. And so I kind of was a bit intrigued, and I just fell in love with singing. It literally found me, and I found it. And then it's just been a lifelong passion now. And I thought a few years ago it was about time that I started to really enjoy writing and releasing my own material, because I've been singing other people's songs for a long time, and I want to bring my artistry to the foreground. So yeah, that's how I found out I was a soprano.
That's good. That's good. Couple of questions to go now. You mentioned classical music. Is it invigorating to see kind of crossover classical music appeal to the younger audiences at the moment?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you saw. I think it was The Voice, and it had the Nadia Edie, and she was singing in a true classical style. She was singing contemporary pop songs in a true classical style, and the fact that she went so far, it was just amazing. And I just thought it feels like the young audience is really starting to appreciate this more of the crossover kind of pop genre. Andrea Bocelli has been obviously a trailblazer for a long time, including Catherine Jenkins. But because I wanted to bring my own kind of, you know, influences that were, Enya, Enigma, all these kind of influences that inspired me when I was younger. I wanted to bring an even more kind of crossover style into the type. So although it's not a true classical crossover as it stands, I would say it's more like a classical crossover pop. Yeah.
Because
So
when I listen to your track, a band called Evanescence, I know they're primarily rock music, but some of their music, when I listened to your track, reminded me of their songs. Like My
yeah,
Immortal. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. You're not the first person to have said that actually, and I do feel like my voice is very similar to Amy Lee's voice in some ways. I mean, she's an amazing artist, completely different genre, but I can easily see how any of my songs could actually be arranged into rock songs, and it's very common for symphonic, rock symphonic artists to actually be classically trained, because they need to have such a huge range, and the only way to be able to sing those notes is to have the real classical training, because we have to be able to look after our voice and be able to sing night after night after night.
That's
So
true.
yeah, it's interesting how you've clicked onto that.
Will we see you on tour soon? If so, any dates coming up this year or next year?
Next year, I'm actually planning. Literally, I'm living my life through a spreadsheet at the moment. I'm literally looking at venues all around the UK at the moment. So hopefully, be putting together a tour for next year. So if anyone wants to find out, please just join my mailing list, or come onto my website and join my mailing list, and you'll be the first to know about new live
Yeah.
dates.
And Natasha Hardy, what is your website?
My website is all the W's, and then it's just natashahardy.com.
Splendid. Well, thank you very much for joining me on my show today. This is a Danison radio show here in the UK, and it goes out to other stations across the world. I'm going to play one of your tracks now, if I can, In Too Deep. And would you like to introduce it on?
Yes, this song is In Too Deep. It's from my debut album, Lost in Love, and I hope you enjoy it.
Pleasure speaking with you today, Natasha, and all the best with this record.
Thank you so much, Dan. Take care, and thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully, see you soon.
Take care.